We are visiting the Snyder Farm in Polk County. We're with Mark Ackelson, the president of the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation, the owners of the Snyder Farm.
Mark,
a great place. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you for coming and joining us. And tell us a little bit about the foundation and about this property that
Well,
we're
first
on.
of all, welcome to the Snyder Farm, and it's a great place. It's actually the Snyder Heritage Farm.
Okay.
The Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation received this property in a bequest in 1991 from Alfred and Gladys Snyder. And their vision was to see much of what you see here today, to see it restored to wildlife and made available to young people and others to visit occasionally. And so we have a wonderful young family living here, and we have a great prairie and wetlands restored, like this great one behind us. This place is just humming with wildlife now.
Mark, if you could make one change in the kind of environment of land tenure in Iowa that would help us promote stewardship and conservation, what would it be?
I think part of that, Neil, would be making sure that the legacy of the land actually passes with the land. You know, former DNR director and chief of the NRCS, Paul Johnson from Northeast Iowa, he had this idea a long time ago, and I actually think it's a good one. So when you get title to your property, you also ought to get this legacy report that tells you, who's owned this before you, not just the names like they appear in an abstract, but what was here on the land and how was it used, what changes have occurred over time, and what should you be responsible for. So I think that's one of the things we miss in our system of land ownership, is that attraction. It's you get a deed. But you're getting deed to a part of the earth that in Iowa is pretty special. Conservation easements are a great tool because the land stays in private ownership, stays on the tax rolls. Landowner controls who comes on their land or who doesn't, but make sure that the resources are protected. Like this wetland behind us. Now this is a wetland reserve program easement. It was actually one of the first done in Polk County. This was done in about 95, 96. We actually have two different easements on this property and a Fish and Wildlife Service easement. So we took advantage of those easement programs to help us pay for the restoration and the reconstruction here. So if we were a non-conservation, non-profit landowner, that easement there would ensure that that wetland's always going to stay there. You know, for us, we know it's going to stay there, but for another landowner, we know it's going to be there now. Just find out about it and realize it helps them accomplish their financial goals, their land protection goals. It can help pay estate taxes, tax deductions or tax credits now, which were recently passed in Iowa. So now we have the financial incentives there. And so now it's reaching out to more and more landowners and telling the story.
Iowa's been a real leader in participation in the WRP program. We have how many tens of thousands of WRP easements do we have in the state?
There's well over 100,000 acres in easements, and the important thing is they're just not easements, they're in real critical places. And then after this last flood in June of '08, now we've had landowners come forward and finally offer conservation easements on floodplain lands. And these are lands that need to come out of production. They're damaged, every 1 every 5 or 1 in 3 years. They're impacting our water quality, and this is an opportunity to get those lands under easement as well. Again, so the landowner will continue to own them, control how they're used, but we can make sure that they're in permanent vegetation now and not torn up every year. We've helped now permanently protect over 100,000 acres in almost every county of the state, and we do that in partnership with landowners and in many cases local agencies, whether it's the County Conservation Board or Department of Natural Resources. But the primary focus of our work is landowners, who many across this state, as you know, are really trying to find solutions to their conservation interests.
The Foundation's published a wonderful book, The Landowner's Options, that talks about how we can safeguard Iowa's natural resources. Tell us a little bit about this publication and its history.
Well, this is the 6th edition of this booklet. We actually published the first one, I think, in 81 or 82, borrowed it from a sister land trust in Maine. But it applies specifically to Iowa. And if you see this latest edition, which by the way is also on our website, INHF.org, there's a section on there for landowners, so it's also on the web. This gives landowners examples and actually case studies and testimonials of how you can go about protecting your land. What are the legal ramifications? What are the financial implications of that? And how might you do that in your planning that fits your specific need? So we've distributed, I don't know how many tens of thousands of these, and the funny thing is, at least funny to me, is I swear about every 4 or 5 months, one of the first or second editions will pop up and somebody says, you know, I got this from you, you know, a couple decades ago and now I'm ready to do something. Who do I talk to? So